Hello everybody, welcome back to JuJu's Journey. Today I'm going to be sharing something that filled my heart with so much joy. I'm going to talk a little bit about my grandson's second birthday party. It was such a beautiful day, full of love, laughter, and gratitude. And honestly, guys, I can't wait to tell you all about it. But while we're doing that, I'm also going to do a semi-update on my finances. You know, I've been checking in on my debit spending lately, and today was the day that I checked in to try to make sure I stay on track sometimes you just kind of forget to check those debits. And like I said, I do have a month ahead. I keep a month ahead in my checking account, but I also have more than that in my checking account. And you know, sometimes it's really easy, like whenever I was doing all the DoorDash and things like that, for you just to not pay attention to what you're actually spending money on. I'm very, very, very good, I promise, about only trying to spend cash. But you know, some things I do have to use my debit card. So I went through today and looked at my bank balance. And guess what came out? Amazon Prime for the whole entire year. And you know, guys, I have a whole envelope for Amazon Prime. And I set it up last year to do one yearly payment. And for some reason, I think they're actually doing that now for everybody. But I had not been stuffing this envelope the whole entire year. So they took out $150.12. I was not expecting to see that in my drafts today. So you have to be careful, especially if you don't leave a cushion. Thank goodness I do have a cushion. But I'm going to now put that in next month's budget. See, I've got to budget this week. I'll probably do that tonight. So I'm going to budget Amazon Prime and start stuffing that envelope. And so what I did is I took $151, divided it by 12, and then whatever that amount was, if it was like $12 and some odd cents, I went up to $13, divided that by 4, and it came out to be $3.25 a week. But I went ahead and upped that to $4. So I'm going to start stuffing Amazon Prime now, $4 a month. So I'm going to write this. I'm going to put this somewhere so I'll know. $4 or $12. So $12 I've got to budget into my monthly budget. So that's one thing I learned today by checking in. Spectrum, I can go ahead and pull that bill, which is, you know, a draft that I make sure that I have the money for. This should be $60, 50, 60. And I will take it and put it in my bank bag. What I'm going to do, since I already have the money in the bank 1 month ahead, I usually pull all the money that I spend, put it in my bank bag, and then whenever I plan for my next month's budget, I make sure I get all the right denominations I need. And then if I need to deposit money or get money back or whatnot, I only get back $3,000. So this can be used towards that $3,000. See all these $5 bills? I'm probably going to have to change those out for 10s and 20s. But this is, you know, how I do it. I just touched my money, had a relationship with it, and paid my Spectrum bill. Okay, well, I've got Connor Law. That is in that money that that does not come out of any of my money. That comes out of my husband's estate account that deals with something entirely different. This does not impact me personally at all right now. Okay, tropical smoothie. You see this? That was on Monday. And that was a debit because I ordered it online and went and picked it up in person. My daughter and I ate there on Monday. But that was lunch money. And so I'm going to come here, take out, oh, that's dining out. Hold on. I'm going to take 20 from lunch, and then I have $33.84. So I've got to figure out how to do that change. $33.84. And that would come out of dining out. So let's do this. So I took 20 out of dining out. Hold on. Can you see? I'm a mess. Okay. So I've got 40 minus, let's just say $34. So $6 is what I owe myself. There's a 1 and a 5. And then I'm going to take this 40 and put in my bank bag. Okay. And now I can put this $6 back into dining out. Okay. Okay, so we've got that paid off. So let me put a check mark. We know where that did. Spectrum we paid. Amazon Prime. Thank God we had an overage. We'll just eat that one and start over fresh. Okay. For budgeting. Okay. Sam's Club. I did order $66.54 online at Sam's Club to be delivered. That was 2 containers of coffee and some protein shakes. So that would be considered groceries. So I'm going to come here to groceries and see what we have here. We only have $14. We're going to take miscellaneous money. This is where the real hits the road. I'm going to take dining out money. And I'm probably going to have to take JuJu money. And let's hope that I have enough money to pay for that. And if not, I do have a contingency plan. So we've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 45, 46, 47. So I need $20. I'm going to hold on to these 3 ones, and I'm going to stick them back in my wallet. And I'm going to come to my bank binder, and I do have an overflow, and I should have a $20 bill in here. And I'm going to take this 20 and go with 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 65, 66, 67. And pay back the bank, because if I don't pay back the bank, the money is just going to start trickling out of my bank account for no good reason, right? And we certainly don't want that to happen. That's not being true to my budget. So I've got to be very careful and intentional. And I promised myself I was going to get back on track. And that's what I'm going to do, is get back on track. As it pains me so much not to have any extra money to be able to stuff this month into my savings challenge, you know. I will use those ones. So that'll be at least $2, right? So we pay back Sam's Club, and that's not a usual, that's not usual. I do not normally do that. But coffee is so much cheaper at Sam's. And so are those energy drinks. And I get the little ones, you know, like the little protein shakes or drinks that I guess you would drink one as a replacement for breakfast or something. And I use those in my coffee, and it's really, really good. And refuel is something that we do plan on. That was my gas for my car, and I spent $41.50, so that would be really $42, right? So let's see what we have in our gas money. We have 20, 40, 60, and let me so 60 minus 42. 60 minus 42, $18. So I owe myself $18 out of the bank bag. Let me put these back where they belong. Goodness, I can't get with it, guys. Okay, I need a 10. A 10, a 5, and 3 ones. Okay, and we're going to put that back, the $18 back into gas. Let me find gas. Here we go. Let's see where that leads us, because we might not even have to stuff gas again this month, which might be a blessing. We have 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18. We have $118 in gas money. I might just stuff a 20 just so it can stay ahead. You know, I might. But we'll have to wait and see. But I do know I'm okay with that. And then the only other thing I have to do to update, keep everything current, is I have a birthday. And I have a birthday today, actually. And I need to get $100. Let's count and see what we have here, because I don't think I updated that last week either. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100, 105, 10, and 15. So $115. And this is a daughter, so she's going to get $100 today. So I'm just going to pull out the 15. Stick it back in her envelope. Then I'm going to take this $100 and I'm going to change it out for a crisp $100 bill. And that will complete or update me on all of my transactions so far. This was a different week. I did have to buy cat food and dog food. So I'm going to stick this in the birthday card. And I will be seeing her when she gets off work today. Yeah, I did have to go buy cat food and dog food this week. So it took a little bit more money. But I will have to update. I have not, and pat myself on the back, I have not DoorDashed. Yay! Yay! Okay, so let me update you really quick on my grandson's birthday party. I think the last video I made is how excited I was and me making the centerpieces. Oh my gosh, they were so stinking cute. The whole entire party was cute. She did not scrimp on anything. And when I'm telling you, As a matter of fact, one of my best friends and her husband came, and he says we are not, like, this is not a typical birthday party. It's Conrad Fest. My grandson's name is Conrad, and so it's Conrad Fest. It was so big, so many people. They had a cooking section. And when I say cooking section, we're talking about cooking authentic Mexican food. They had pizzas, tons of pizza boxes that were delivered. They had, they're best friends with someone that owns our local shrimper. So they had chicken fingers. They had macaroni and cheese. They had cups of fruit. They had desserts. They had people bringing out little trays with desserts on them throughout the party. They had 2 huge tents set up and then 2 smaller tents, and they were all kind of connected. And there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of those big tables that seat 8 people at each one. 2 kid tables. Then, of course, there were the picnic table that was out near the playground. And my son, my little grandson, he's got the wooden tree house, and then he's got the little plastic, cute little whimsical house that my son put pavers down so it sits on pavers, but then the side of it is a sandbox, so magical looking. He's got another little climbing slide thing. He has his own little water park, with the slide and the pool that's aged more appropriately for younger children. Then they rented the huge slide, and then all of the water tables and all of the little riding toys that you can imagine, water guns, everything. Okay, so you had the cooking station where food was coming up continuously. The party started at 4:30, no end time. Then there was also a huge bar with the authentic margarita. And I think they put like 4 different kinds of tequila. I just know supposedly I didn't drink one. One is like the equivalent to if you went to a bar and ordered a drink, to like maybe 4 of those. And they even have like the rim that's all got the little special stuff around the rim. And I don't know, it's just very special. Then they had coolers full of Coke, Sprite, water. They had, I think, like Mountain Dew. They had Mexican beer. They had another kind of beer, and they had Michelob Ultra. They had tons of all of that. Then they also had a DJ station. So there was a DJ there playing music the whole time. And as the day went on and all the children left, then it was more of a grown-up party. And then it was more like line dancing and just one song may be Mexican, one song may be in English. And it was absolutely wonderful. My son has 2 gigantic, big industrial fans that are like 4 feet by 4 feet or maybe 6 by 6. I don't know. They're huge. So he had those 2 gigantic fans. Then he had fans that are under his covered deck, and then fans that were sporadically placed around other seating areas, so you were able to stay somewhat cool. And it was significantly cooler than it was last year, but it was still hot. But once the sun went down, the weather was bearable. But, of course, the children had a blast because it was a water party. Everybody was sliding and staying cool in water. And then they had 3 gigantic piñatas. And that's where all the kids have their little bags. And there's money being tossed when they break, and money and candy. Graffiti, I guess it's graffiti. Everything you can imagine, just poof, out of these piñatas. Absolutely magical. All the children had a ball. My granddaughter said it was the best birthday ever, and she's 6. And then my 1-year-old grandson was singing happy birthday all the way home, his mom said. And then, of course, my grandson, of course he enjoyed it. It was absolutely magical. And so I wanted to give you an update. It was a perfect party. Decorations were great. Food was great. The companionship, the company, the celebration, everybody was wonderful. It was just a beautiful day. And I was so glad I was, we're able to go and attend something like this, because we don't normally, I've never have gone to a birthday party with that many people. I would imagine 125 people came. I don't know. It was huge, absolutely huge. But anyway, that was my update. Thank you for watching. And I'll be planning on July's budget. I can already tell my electric bill went up. I'm so down and sad and whatever about it. And at least I know Amazon Prime what it's going to be and when it comes out, so I can start planning on it. This was my learning curve this week. All of these other things, I don't regret spending. This, I had no choice. I wish I did have a choice, but I have a fund for that. Tropical smoothie, that's okay. That's my eating out this week. Sam's Club, I've got to have coffee. Now I'm good for probably about 2 containers of coffee. And like gas, I was set. I was ready for it. So all of these things I'd already budgeted for. I just had to make sure I put the budget back into my checking account. Because if I don't put it back in my checking account, then that's defeating the whole purpose, right? So everything's good. The only thing that's came out of my checking account and will stay out of my checking account is the Amazon Prime. And I'm okay. I have an overage for that. You always want to keep enough money in your checking account to save your honey. Don't ever get it low enough that you could overdraft, guys. Okay? Anyway, nice talking to you, and I just wanted to leave you with this. Like, no matter what season of life we're in, please take the moment to celebrate the beautiful moments, Especially celebrate the beautiful moments that are worth celebrating. Like, this birthday party reminded me of how precious my family is, and how much love and how much love we truly have for each other, and how important it is to spend time together. So anyway, thank you for being a part of my journey, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.